This is Diablo Immortal. It's the mobile version of Diablo that recently came out. To some acclaim, some protest. People have mixed feelings about this game. I've only just barely gotten started, so I don't have a strong opinion about it one way or the other. Except that I'm not super thrilled with the controller support. I tend to like to play, like real-time, fast-paced games with a controller on my iPad if I can. I don't love the fact that I got to use a cursor to navigate the menus, and it uses the sort of the Eastern standard of B to select, A to cancel, instead of A to select, B to cancel, which struck me as odd because, Blizzard is an American company, but I think this game was actually made by or published by, or I don't exactly know what the arrangement was, NetEase, which is a Chinese company. So I could imagine that maybe the standards, the expectations are different on that side of the Pacific. And since most people are going to be playing this with a touchscreen, like it probably just didn't strike anyone as extremely important to adapt the menu standards to different regions. So that's fine. It's actually kind of okay for an American to be in the off region occasionally. Usually I'm in the central region that people are thinking about first. So it's kind of fun, actually, to sort of, to realize what it's like to have everything made to a standard that isn't your own. Oh, hey, so John Marston 1005 showed up. This is his first time being here with me live. Hello, John. Thanks for joining us. Same with McBrady H. So, yeah, good to have a couple of new faces in here. Okay, so I'm going to... I usually subvert the controller's use of the menus and just tap on things when I can. So it's nice to have that option, honestly. I'm not sure where my head is going to belong on the screen so that you can best see what's going on. So I've made myself this demon hunter named Ree. She's the one that I've got selected, so let's enter the world. I usually play as a demon hunter. I just really like top-down shooters, and the demon hunter is how I get closest to that model. So it just feels much more natural to me. So let me just introduce how things work here. So using a controller in Diablo Immortal, you run around, you can see that when there's something you can interact with, it puts up a little button with an A on it that says you can interact with this. Now I could also just tap that button with my finger. I've got my iPad down here right in front of me. I'm trying to decide if there's enough input lag that I shouldn't play looking at the screen or if I should look down. I think it looks uncomfortable whenever I'm looking down away from the camera at my actual iPad. So we'll see what my comfort level is if I start looking at OBS and trying to play that way. Anyway, you can see that there's sort of touchable buttons on the lower right-hand side of the corner, about where your hand would be if you're trying to sort of hold your iPad comfortably. But all of them are associated with buttons on the controller so that I can then sort of adapt that control scheme to this. And it's really nicely laid out. You've got sort of your basic attack button in the middle, and then arrayed around the outside, you've got LT and RT on the outside, LB and RB on the inside. It's really easy to sort of, and Y up at the top. It's really easy to sort of analogize those buttons to where my hands are on the controller, which is great. That X, actually, I manually changed that in the controls. They do let you remap the buttons, not in the menus, but in the gameplay. So originally, the basic attack was A, and interacting with things in the world was X. But to me, that just felt off-standard. When I play top-down brawlers and things, I'm used to X being my attack button and A being my interact button. So that's what I changed it to. Or A will be my dodge, and occasionally I'll hit the A button by accident when I want to dodge something. There isn't a dodge, at least not at this level of the progression of the Demon Hunter. I know that in Diablo 3 there is kind of a dodgy move that I eventually assigned to my Demon Hunter, but I don't. If that exists in this game, I haven't unlocked it yet. Oh, hey, Corrupt Snake, thanks for subscribing, and it's good to see you too, Bampy Bampy. Let's go inside this Queen's Tomb. So I'm not that far into the game, and apparently there's some kind of cult trying to do something bad with some evil demons, which is, you always know that that's what Diablo is going to be about. So you'll notice there is auto-targeting in this game. There will always be a red highlighted enemy that all of my attacks are gonna go against. Unless I'm doing this multi-attack thing, then it's just going to be shooting in every direction. I'm trying to remind myself where my abilities are. So when you want to fire an aimed ability, like, for instance, this sort of fanned out ability. You can then use the right stick to aim it optionally, or just sort of have it go in whatever direction your auto target is in, which is what it does by default. Right now there's no enemies around me, so my auto target is just in an arbitrary direction. But like you can see there's these enemies up ahead of me, so I'm going to use my LT attack, aim it, and fire it. And try to knock these guys back into it so they can just keep getting hit. So overall, this feels like a pretty good, chunky Diablo game. And I don't think I'm hearing a lot of people complaining about the gameplay. The gameplay is actually pretty solid. I think it doesn't feel quite as immediate and snappy as like playing Diablo on PC. But I think that is also just, I mean, to be expected a bit from, you know, I'm playing this on an older iPad. It doesn't have quite the power of my PC. And so my expectations are tempered, and this seems perfectly fine. Ooh. Ah! What are you doing? Get out of here. So I really like that one ability I keep using that sort of knocks enemies back. Oh, I'm slowed down. I was trying to figure out why the heck I was going so slow. He's hitting me with webs. Take that, arachnid horror. Let's see here. Oh, so Casey Suitcase wants... I'm sitting there reading the chat, getting eaten by spiders. Casey Suitcase wants to know, when's the next time you stream State of Decay 2, and does it get boring? So I typically stream State of Decay 2 on Thursday afternoons. So if that's what you want to see, I do that pretty regularly. Does it get... So I've been trying so far to try to keep it interesting for myself by doing things I haven't done before. Like, you know, I'm playing in the Nightmare Zone, which is normally what I would consider above my difficulty level. And actually, I've surprisingly managed to kind of adapt to it. I think I'm more comfortable there than I've ever been before. But for a while, I felt like it was beyond me. And that I was just, you know, probably going to fail for people's entertainment. But doing stuff like that does kind of make it interesting to play. And so, like, once I right now I'm working on my last two bounties. Sorry, not bounties. My last two boons, my last two legacy boons in Nightmare. Once I've done that, I think I need to move on to Lethal. Lethal is going to be a disaster. I'm going to be failing constantly, and I think that's going to keep it interesting. So yeah, no, it hasn't gotten boring yet. And actually, I consider that to be one of the, I don't know, one of the greatest things that ever happened to me in my career, honestly, is the fact that I've found a game, you know, there's a company that wants me to work on a game that I actually want to play. And that's never happened to me before. Historically, I've only worked at companies that wanted me to make games,
Still waiting.
that wanted me to make games that I didn't enjoy playing. Like licensed games based on movies for kids, that sort of thing. That's what I spent a lot of my life working on. Oh, and actually, you know, that does kind of segue a little bit into something I wanted to talk about with Diablo Immortal. Because, you know, a fair chunk of my career before Undead Labs, I spent working on mobile games, free-to-play mobile games. And it was kind of tough because, you know, I was working for this company that was very, very focused on, you know, they weren't really in it for the art of making games. They were in it for... Other people are making money at this. We should be able to make money at this. What are they doing to make the money? Let's follow them and do whatever they do to try to make the money. Was sort of the attitude of the company that I worked for, which meant they weren't exactly visionaries. They weren't really, you know, the kinds of people who were going to, you know, come up with the hot new ideas that really revolutionized the game industry. They were just there to imitate other people and see if they could sort of pick up some of the scraps of money that fell behind. And it wasn't that exciting, wasn't that creatively fulfilling, but I did spend a lot of time thinking about free-to-play monetization while I was working there. So we can talk about that a little bit once I see what's in this burial vault.
The Queen's spirit will lead the way to the Black King, Leoric.
Okay. Whoa! Oh, this is a bad guy? Okay, well, I'd like to not be hit by your ghost rays. Hitting me with a ray of ghost. That's not cool. I think for that laser, I want to be closer to him, because, like, geometrically, that will work a lot. Oh, gosh, okay. I assume these expire at some point? Yes. Okay, so I want to get closer to him while this laser is out because it means I can cover more angular distance. Okay, yeah, I think I'll be fighting this boss for a bit before we start. Oh, gosh. Before we start really getting into a discussion. Okay, so this guy resists knockback, so I can't actually... My knockback ability isn't going to do much to him. But I think my ability that rains damage on him as he holds still might be appropriate. And stay close to him, because I think he's got a limited speed that he can do that at. Oh, I think... Do I move faster when I'm doing this, like, spinny attack everybody move? Ah, I gotta get away. I don't have... So a lot of my abilities, you'll notice they've got cooldowns. Ah. Where'd he go? He's over there. Ah, I gotta run away. Run away! Run away! Where are you now? You... There you go. Yes, he's erupted in edible blood. I do really appreciate the auto-aim in this game. Like, I can manually aim my special area effect attacks, but, like, my LB attack, the one that sort of pushes people back, hits them with that big red bolt. That one, like, I never aim it. I just basically let it hit whichever enemy I'm auto-targeting, and it's fine. Oh! Look at that. Shouldn't be a boss in a video game. That's what happens.
The mansion can only be to the north. I have to hurry.
Ooh, I have reached level 14. What do I do about that again? Ooh, multi-shot? Let's see here. Skills? What have we... So multi-shot, looks like multi-shot ranked up. Okay, I don't know actually what it got better than. So good. I'm glad multi-shot has ranked up. That makes me happy. Let's head out and let's talk about free-to-play stuff. So, you know, somebody might ask me, you know, I spent years working on free-to-play games, and like, how do you justify that to yourself? Because free-to-play games are just the devil in some people's opinion. And really, I mean, there are definitely free-to-play games out there that are consciously exploitative, that are deliberately... I should look at my inventory as we're talking here. That are... Wait, where do I keep... I think this might not be where my inventory is. Where is my inventory? Is it... Ah, here it is. Ah, so this looks like it's an upgrade. Yep. And that hood, I just don't even have a hood. So we'll take care of that. There we go. I'm all fancy now. So there are definitely exploitative ways to do free-to-play games. In fact, you know, the company that I was working for back then, they were actually seriously considering getting into, like, working on gambling machines, which is, you know, the ultimate example of the kind of sort of mentality that you want to avoid, right? Where the whole point is to try to come up with an algorithm that turns people into money, basically. That turns sort of our most unconscious motivations into an excuse to feed money into a machine. And when that is your attitude, yeah, you can make some pretty exploitative stuff. But I think that there is a spectrum of free-to-play games out there, and only some of them fall into that category. And actually, you know, I learned, you know, while I was working in this area, I learned to think about free-to-play games as actually being potentially, if you do it right, actually kind of more ethical and more fair to the audience than premium games. Because if you think about it, when you say premium games, you're talking about like games that you pay up front in order to be able to play them. And there's some stores, like for instance, you know, Steam really puts a lot of effort into giving you the opportunity to, you know, if you find out that a game is not what you thought it was, they give you the option to unmake your purchase, you know, to return the game, which is great. And there's also, you know, there's other, you know, stores and things like that let you do that, and that can be really helpful. But in an environment where you can't do that, like for instance, the App Store, it's actually, you know, kind of questionable to ask somebody to pay for a game up front when they haven't been able to verify if they enjoy it, or even if they're able to play it in certain, in questions of, say, accessibility. And so in my mind, especially when I was working on it, I felt like the, offering a game free to most people and basically letting the people who can afford to pay, giving them incentives to pay to basically finance everybody else, to me actually felt like a pretty darn good way to handle it. I really liked the idea that I can make a game and somebody who just enjoys it but doesn't have a lot of money could play the game, and have a full and complete experience with the game. And then there could be something in the game that you don't actually need in order to enjoy the game, but that if somebody, wants to be a fancy person and wants to buy that thing, then they pay more money than the game would normally be worth to them for that stuff. And then the fact that they paid us means that the people who get the game for free don't have to pay us ever at all. But that idea depends entirely on the game that you get as a free player actually being a full and complete satisfying experience. And that's the place where questions get raised, right? Where, like trying to evaluate, and this thing that's tough, trying to evaluate a game and determine whether it has been tuned so that you can have the full and complete fun experience as a free player, or if it's been tuned so that it's only fun if you're a paying player. That's a big question mark, and I don't think it's a clear-cut thing. I don't think you can just draw a fine line and say the games on this side of the line are exploitative and the games on that side of the line are fair. It's really, really hard to tell. Because there are definitely games out there where people say this game has been tuned so that it's only fair to paying players, and then other people will disagree with them. And so I haven't played very much Diablo Immortal. I have no idea which side of that line it falls on. I have read reviews that said they did not pay for anything and played a long time in this game and did not feel like they were being pushed, that they were being sort of forced to pay in order to have a good experience. They said that they get prompted to buy things, but that's a little bit different. That's almost like having ads on a TV show, like, hey, you could pay if you want to. Great, thanks for telling me. I'm not going to. As long as you can sort of still have a good experience with the game without paying for it, to me, it just almost feels like the difference between, say, like, it's actually kind of like a fancy demo before you pay. And to me, that seems potentially fully fair. And it just occurred to me that I've got an X on my objectives. I've just kind of been following the footsteps around.
Hello again.
I don't know.
Assume you followed the surge of energy here as well. Lethis never did have the patience for subtlety.
Can you hear the dialogue okay?
Come. We must find the source of this profane rite. At its apex, we will find my wayward apprentice.
So,
I could get used to that.
yeah, so apparently I failed to investigate the Queen's Tomb. All I've been doing is following these footsteps around. So the game does give you a lot of guidance. I think in part because... Oh, hello, what's going on here? I think part of the reason they do that is because, a lot of the time when you're playing a mobile game, you are barely paying attention. You sometimes, often it's because you're in the middle of doing something else. You're trying to listen to something else. You're playing it as sort of an idle distraction while something else is going on. I don't know why this guy's holding still, but whatever. I can kill him more effectively. So they put kind of, I think, an extra layer of guidance in here to make it really obvious where you need to go. Like, if I want to go off the beaten path, like look over here and get into this random fight, whatever it is, then cool, I totally can. Nothing's stopping me. But there's just always these footsteps on the screen telling me where I need to go in order to do the next official thing. And so that means that a lot of times, like, I will play this the way it's intended, which is something else will be going on, and I'll play this a little bit in the background, and I don't have to figure out what's going on. I can just sort of do what it tells me to do next, and I'll make progress.
A necrotic barrier. Quaint. Well...
Ow! Hey, get away from me. Anyway, Zool, what were you saying? So Zool's apprentice appears to be the person who's trying to summon whatever terrible thing is going on, and so Zool here is sort of my guide right now.
A necrotic barrier. Quaint. In the meantime, I'll go and keep Lethis occupied.
All right. By the way, one thing you'll notice is that you'll run into other players randomly, just sort of wandering around in the world, getting into fights alongside you. I'm genuinely not exactly sure how this works, how I get matchmade with other players, to what degree we're actually in the same space, really doing the same things together. It could be kind of like Journey, where they just like linking to people up and be like, oh, isn't it cute that you're together? Isn't it fun to see that you're in a big shared world? But it's not, it doesn't feel like it's very consequential. I mean, I imagine that if I actually consciously teamed up with some friends, we could support each other doing difficult things. I haven't looked at all into what the multiplayer in this game is like, but yeah, it does seem like they're really trying to emphasize the idea that you're playing in a shared world with other people, and I think that multiplayer is actually considered to be like if you're kind of trying to come up with the bullet list of features that you want to have in your free-to-play game. Multiplayer is actually considered to be sort of if you're not thinking in terms of like I'm a game designer, I think like a player. I'm trying to create the game that players want, but rather if you're thinking I'm a business person, I've got business goals I want to achieve, and I'm looking sort of for the talisman that I can rub, or that something that I can do to reassure myself that the game I'm making is going to be a success. Then one of the things you can put in a game that will convince business people that it's going to be success as a free-to-play game is multiplayer. And I think, and the reason for that is that I think multiplayer games will establish little tiny subcultures of people who play together. Like you'll have some friends say, "Oh, hey, we play Diablo Immortal together. That is our game. That's what we do when we're hanging out together." And so those people will tend to be pretty sticky audience members for the game. And it's sticky audience members for the game that will eventually spend money. When a game is spending money on a game, like really spending real money on it, is usually less about. It's less about sort of being cajoled into it by the game's tuning or something like that. The people who are actually, I think, the most committed sort of donators, I guess, to a video game tend to be the people who consider it to be sort of a part of their identity as a player. Like oh, I am a Diablo player. That's the main kind of player I am. I think of myself as being a member of Diablo's audience. And so somebody like that, people, when they consider themselves to be a part of something, and that's like important to them, to their identity as a player, then they're willing to spend money on it. They're willing to, to like buy the Funko Pops and, buy T-shirts and like all of those things that you do to show you're a fan of something. That same impulse that makes you, if you imagine sort of a game that you're a fan of that you want to buy merch for, to sort of show your fandom and to like identify yourselves to other fans and to sort of create a talking point. People are like, oh, hey, what's on your shirt? And you get to talk about one of your favorite subjects. Like all of those feelings, those also carry over into in-game purchases. And so you'll see, companies consciously trying to sort of build their games around the idea that they want it to be something that people can coalesce around, build a community around, build identities around. Oh, some kind of giant blood golem. I don't know what this is. Oh, no. Stop it. He's doing something that is going to happen in an area. There we go. So when I'm doing this move, I think I actually move faster. So when I need to get out of the way of something, I should save up that move for when I need to get out of the way of something. Oh, crap. There we go. I really appreciate when enemies tell me exactly where they're going to go. It's super helpful. Ah, crap.
My health returns.
Okay, we got him. What is up here? This is like, okay, I think that I'm like destroying multiple death rituals. That's what's going on. So SXO Maze 1 wants to know, is today an official Undead Lab stream? Yes. So Joe is going to be doing a Father's Day stream talking about Heartland. So that's going to be cool. So if you're at all into Heartland or curious about Heartland, you should definitely check that out. I'm not going to be the host today. I'm actually technically on vacation today. I've got other stuff going on around my place, but Fleeting Shrine. What's this? Ooh, movement speed increased. Yay! I'm so fast. Okay, I'm mostly just going over here because the footprints told me to go the other way, and I'm contrarian. But let's not do that. Now that I got some speed, we might as well head over here. I figure I'll play through the game until we get through this like current quest that I'm on, unless it turns out to be a ridiculously long quest. So Bampy Bampy says, I saw you playing Angerfoot the other day. Did anything else grab your attention during Steam Next Fest? Yeah, so I've got several. Oh, another Fleeting Shrine, cool. I've got several videos all queued up. Some of them have come out, some of them haven't yet. About Steam Next Fest, but I think probably my favorite experience that came out of Next Fest was Metal Hellsinger, which, you know, I'm a little bit biased because it was made by some friends of mine, but not entirely. Like, it's really cool. It's actually, I called it a combination of Doom. It's got very, you know, like modern Doom. It's got very Doom-like shooter mechanics, but it also, I think, takes some inspiration from Thumper, which is it's a rhythm game. You can get it on mobile. I think it was originally on console. It's really just about sort of immersing yourself in a really heavy, driving soundtrack and feeling like you're sort of living the music in a weird way. You're this little scarab-like thing barreling down a chute, and you're slamming yourself in different directions on the beat in order to sort of you know, keep from dying and score points and things like that. It's a really, really sort of powerful, visceral experience. And I've seen people try to do that with a shooter before and have it not really work out. But Metal Hellsinger works. Like, it... Oh, there's another golem. Oh, okay. Well, I screwed that up. Yeah, no, it really, really works. Like, you're simultaneously playing a Doom-like shooter with all of the, you know, all of the good vibes that come from that. And then, at the same time, you're having all of the sort of musically driven experiences you have in a game like Thumper. And it's really kind of mind-blowing. Did I just get the guy? I think I just got the guy. Destroy Death Ritual. Bampy Bampy says that game looks great, but I have no rhythm, so I don't know how that'll do. It's, as long as you can follow along with the rhythm that already exists, you don't have to be able to create the rhythm yourself. But yeah, if it doesn't sound like your thing, it doesn't sound like your thing. There's a lot of really interesting looking Slay the Spire type games, like, you know, deck building roguelikes basically. Oh, there's a new quest. Cleansing the Rot. Kill monsters in Ashwold Cemetery. And that's where I am right now? Okay, sure. Let's cleanse some rot. Let's do it. Hey, there's some rot. Hello, rot. Oh, who's a good rot? Who's a good rot? Oh, hey, Stake Thrower of Vitality. Let's have a look at our inventory here. Whoa, what? What requires level 15? I'm 16. I suddenly have a much better weapon. And then this one is the same as the other weapon I've got, except it's fortitude instead of willpower. Who cares? I don't know the difference. Fancy belt, fancy breastplate, fancy hood. Let's do it. I look ridiculous. I am so uncoordinated right now. I actually, honestly, would rather look like that, even though I've got slightly lower stats. I can't deal. I can't deal with the way I looked. So, hello. You go back into that section too. All of you back in. Oh, more of ya? There's more? Oh, what? Oh, I didn't realize I started walking through a chest without even realizing it was there. There's a bunch of stuff in here. Oh, hello, more rot. Okay, so it says I can join Zool at the manor, but I want to talk to the blacksmith. Let's head back home. Actually, so I could continue the quest, but let's go back home and just see what the town looks like, because why not? I think I might actually be fast travel in this game. So maybe when I'm not in the middle of combat, I should try that. Oh, thanks, Senta lady. Senla lady. Am I actually really close to town? Let's see. Maybe I don't need to fast travel. No, I'm still in the cemetery. Okay. But I do feel like I'm doing significantly more damage than I was doing before. Though, Demon Huntresses are weird because they carry 2 weapons. And so you equip 2 weapons, and it's actually hard to figure out exactly what the benefit is of, like if I've got 2 weapons of vastly different damage outputs, I think that actually can get weird. Like, you're actually kind of hurting yourself by having the 2 weapons. I don't know. But yeah, so for instance, one was called Turbo Kid. Turbo Kid is a deck building roguelike that it involves like you're like working your way down a sort of cyberpunk skyscraper, getting into fist fights, playing sort of a like cyberpunk version of Bruce Lee, and so, but all of your fist fights are controlled. They're like Into the Breach fights, which they're mostly about sort of moving around and manipulating your enemies. But all of your actions are done by cards. It's actually really similar to another game called Fights in Tight Spaces that I really enjoyed. And there's another one called Beneath Oresa. Oresa. In fact, I think I just released a video to that one today. That one, it's like Slay the Spire, only you actually have multiple areas of the battlefield that you can move between, and your character really acts out the combat. And so it's a much more sort of dramatic presentation of a similar kind of fight, which is kind of fun.
No? Well, good luck out there.
Wait, I said no? No, I wanted to say yes.
What can I do for you?
It said talk to the blacksmith.
What can I do for you?
Oh, services. Okay, that's right. So I can push A to just clear the dialogue, but I need to push right on the D-pad to open up services. And so now, I mean, all of my stuff is just all going to get salvaged. Salvage everything. Don't care. Don't care. One nice thing about, the fact that I know that this game has kind of really been tuned for, for casual play, it means that I don't really feel like I need to be obsessively worrying about, oh, is there going to be like some alternate... Yes, because it's ugly. Is there going to be some, alternate loot I want to hold on to? Is there something I want to save up for? Is there whatever? I'm not really worried about that. I'm like, whatever. They're going to give me a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to pick the fancy stuff, unless it's super ugly, and then we're good. Yeah, so I guess I must have just missed out on investigating the Queen's Tomb. That must be the place where I started when I left. I picked when I was going to leave. There was probably something I could have found in there that would have been beneficial, but because I left early, I missed my opportunity. So that should teach me to stream video games and get distracted. Oh, hello, zombies. How are you doing? By the way,
I need more time.
so some of my abilities, you'll notice, are on cooldowns. Like, for instance, if I fire my LB ability, it goes 11, 10, 9. It starts counting down till the next time I can use it. However, my RB ability, it's got a little blue, it looks like almost like a radar sweep going across it. What is, oh, that's a friend. Okay. And that radar sweep, every time it goes all the way around, it adds a number. You see there's a number 3 next to my RB ability? That means I can use it 3 times before it has to recharge. And then while that little blue sweep is going on, that means it's recharging. It'll eventually recharge up to 3 again. I like the fact that they came up with a nice visual way to show something that they don't usually have to show, which is like an ability with a cooldown, but that can accumulate multiple uses before it actually has to cool down. Oh, well, I need to go this way. Okay, Cogs is verifying that, yes, there is a way to fast travel in this game. So, cool. I decided not to use it, but there totally is one. which is good. Again, like, you know, mobile games, they have to be very much about. Oh, cool. So my abilities got upgraded. They really have to be about convenience. You know, that's actually, you know, I did a video earlier, you know, fairly recently, talking about Moonrise, which was one of the, you know, it was a game that my company worked on for a little while that that eventually got canceled. It was a mobile game. It was a free-to-play mobile game. Oh gosh, let's just get out of here. This place seems scarier than what I'm used to. Oh, that guy's immune to knockback? Okay, cool. Hey, stop helping that guy. Oh, wait, no, he's not. That's my friend. He's hurting the guy. Okay, great. Keep hurting that guy. I'll just shoot this dog because it's what I happen to be auto-targeted on. But one of the problems with Moonrise was the fact that, you know, the battles took place in levels that needed to load. It was kind of a Pokemon-like game where, you know, you would get into sort of duels with other monster owners as you accumulated monsters. But each time you had to go into battle, you had to load the level that the battle took place in. And so there was this, like, the basic core gameplay involved waiting through loading screens again and again and again. And we realized, I think a little bit too late, that was basically going to be kind of a non-starter for sort of what was meant to be a casually played mobile game, because, you know, if you have to wait through a load all the time, nobody wants to do that. They want a game that will just be continuous. Load once at the beginning, but then it really is filling all of your time.
No more. I'm beyond you now.
So here's the apprentice. She's going to summon something awful.
Leoric's soul will be mine, and with it, I will be the greatest necromancer alive.
Oh no!
Rathma himself.
All of our necks will be romanced.
And your suffering begins now.
Oh, is this my suffering? Oh crap, here comes my suffering. Oh, I hate suffering. Suffering sucks. Okay, no knockback. Oh, shoot me more. Let's go into fast mode. Okay. Okay, good. Kind of chosen a direction there. That's helpful. Let's keep the damage coming. Is that it? I assume probably not.
It is done. The breach is open. You cannot stop it.
Oh, she was just biding time.
Don't intend to. You are my target, Lethus. My failure to put down.
Uh-oh.
Please. You can no more put me down this time than you could the last.
Okay, are we gonna let's talk to
The
Zool?
rift is drawing strength from the Skeleton King's essence. You must go inside and break the tether that connects them.
All right.
How would I do that?
Kill Leoric. You'd be surprised how often that works. Lethus desires dominion over the undead. The power Diablo left within Leoric's blackened soul. Put him.
Okay. Wait, battle pass? What? What is this? No, I don't know. I don't care. Stop it. So here's the problem with battle passes. I genuinely have no idea how they work, which means that I'm just not attracted to them at all. I think that, you know, there's sort of a community of players who've played a lot of free-to-play games that have things like battle passes and season passes and stuff like that. And they know what they are, and they understand how they work, and they can actually get more and more complicated over time to entertain those players. But for a player like me who doesn't usually engage with that kind of thing, I don't even know. Like, I look at that screen, I'm just like, looks like there's some stuff, I guess. How do I get it? I don't know. I don't care, and then I just sort of move on. Oh, so I could find a party for this, but I don't want to. And also, I actually don't want to keep playing right now, because I think we've kind of gotten the point, right? Let's look at the
Cast aside,
let's look at the cutscene.
but I found found the shard. I found purpose. The Queen's spirit would lead me to Leoric. And the power to rule over the dead. I will be vindicated. Leoric's soul is the key.
All right. Well, here I am, and I'm not going to do this right now. So now you've seen Diablo Immortal. I think that's kind of what I had in mind here. Was just I wanted to not sit here and play. I mean, Diablo, just as a franchise, is designed to be played for a very long period of time and to offer sort of a consistent, positive, rewarding experience over that time. It doesn't have a lot of incredible highs and lows. It's got just a very consistent. It's a very consistent source of fun and sort of relaxation and a sense of progress. And they've done a good job of that. And so I don't think we need to see a whole lot more of it in this video to get the fact that Diablo Immortal seems to be an effective addition to the Diablo canon. So I'll keep it on my iPad. I'll play around with it when I get the chance. But for right now, I think we should wrap things up. So yeah, La Coalición says, most battle passes are simple. You level them up by getting XP by playing the game, and this rewards you with items. So basically you pay for something that feeds more items into you as you do whatever normal things you would do in the game. And I think I did actually cash in some like hard currency that I'd earned in Call of Duty Vanguard to do something like this, and that is how it worked. And so I guess that's fairly straightforward. It's just, you think normally of like buying something as being like, oh, I see a thing, I want that, so I'm going to buy it. And you think of a subscription as being like, I want ongoing access to this thing, so I'm going to pay regularly and get it. A battle pass is weird because it's like, you pay once for it, but it's kind of a subscription, but it's a lot of individual items that you earn. And because of that sort of extra layer of complexity and sort of separation from normal economic activity, I can vaguely be aware of what they are and still not feel like I get it, and still not feel particularly compelled by it. But I don't really care what my character looks like in Diablo. And so since most of what they're selling is like, fancy stuff for your character to dress up in, because I'm not invested in that, I'm like, okay, whatever. But some people are invested in it. So there we go. La Coalición says, the best battle pass system I've seen is Vigor, since it has 2 unlockables per level. 1 unlockable is for everyone, and the other one is for people who pay. But the game coins can be unlockable, so you don't have to buy it. You can just get the coins by playing. That was the experience I had. I don't think I actually spent money on the Call of Duty one that I did. I think I just spent the hard currency that I'd earned in the game to get it. I'm pretty sure that your ability to earn hard currency diminishes over time. And so I'm betting that wouldn't be possible to do long term with every single pass. But I was able to do it with at least one, which was kind of nice. By the way, when I say hard currency, there's when you're talking about sort of free-to-play games, there's a terminology called soft currency and hard currency. Soft currency is currency that is typically earned exclusively within the game. It's usually pretty cheap to come by, and it's used to buy normal stuff to just keep the game going. It's sort of the in-game currency you would have in a typical video game that was not free-to-play. And then the hard currency is the currency that you're actually paying money for, that is usually used to unlock fancier stuff. It's used to sort of like a carrot to sort of entice the player forward into spending money, that sort of thing. And so usually you'll often see a game that's got 2 currencies in it. Like you'll have like gold and diamonds, where the gold is the soft currency and the diamonds are the hard currency. And so that's what I'm talking about when I say that phrase. Raneth Court says, both of Deep Rock Galactic's battle passes have been totally free and included dozens of cosmetics. Okay, well that's cool. I hadn't actually heard of there being free battle passes. Is that just... So is the purpose of a battle pass that's free to just say, we want people to be playing during this time period? Like, it's sort of a way to sort of bolster your audience numbers rather than bolstering your income? I could see that working. Like, if you've got the kind of game that benefits from, like, Deep Rock Galactic is a deeply multiplayer co-op game. I imagine that encouraging some of your players to play will encourage that to sort of spread to other players, and getting more people playing your game actively means more people are encouraged to buy your game to join their friends playing your game. So I could see offering free battle passes to get people all playing at once could actually be really beneficial to the bottom line, but not in a way that is exploitative, in a way that is just like encouraging people to play your game during a particular amount of time without charging them any money, and getting it with multiple people playing the game together at the same time. It grows the community and it helps your game do better in other ways. Okay, anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. So there's a subscribe button. Here's some other videos. And yeah, there we go.